You're probably not eating enough protein, and there's a good chance it's costing you muscle. It's one of the most common mistakes I see in young rugby league players who are trying to lean down, drop body fat and stay strong, but end up looking flat, small, or just not performing the same. If you're training hard in a calorie deficit and doing everything right, but your strength is dropping, you're losing size or you feel like you're shrinking, then this is often the number one reason why. So in today's episode, we're breaking down exactly why protein is so important and how much you need to be having. Because if you're trying to strip fat without sacrificing performance, protein isn't just helpful, it's absolutely essential. Now, for those of you who don't know me, my name's Joe Murphy. I co-founded League Fit Academy 9 years ago to help educate young rugby league players about how to build their body, their skills and their mind. And we now work with thousands of players across 6 different continents right around the globe. Now let's dive in. And the first question is simple. What exactly is protein? Well, protein is the raw material your body uses to build and repair muscle. Kind of like Lego bricks, but for your body. Imagine trying to build something massive like the Star Wars Death Star or Hogwarts Castle from Harry Potter using Lego. You follow the instructions perfectly, you work for hours and hours on end, put in heaps of effort, but if you don't have enough Lego bricks, it's not going to matter. You'll end up with a half-finished build and a whole lot of frustration. And that's exactly how protein works in your body. Training hard is like following the instructions and doing the work, but protein is the actual material, like Lego bricks, that helps your body repair and rebuild muscle after you've broken it down through exercise. So in the same way that no bricks equals no build, well, no protein equals no muscle. So if you're pushing hard in the gym or on the field and you're not getting enough protein, you're cutting your gains short before they even start. So now that we know what protein is, let's get into the 4 ways that protein actually helps drive fat loss. First is through muscle preservation. Second, through increased satiety. Thirdly, through the higher thermic effect of food. And the fourth and the final driver of fat loss is how it helps to stabilize your blood sugar and improve your appetite control. So let's run through each of those in a little bit more detail. Fat loss driver number 1, muscle preservation. When you're in a calorie deficit, your body needs to find energy. Without enough protein, it starts to break down muscle tissue, not just fat. So it starts breaking down itself. And that's where increased amount of protein in your diet steps in. It helps spare muscle. Supplies amino acids and helps you recover while staying lean. If you're not eating enough protein, you'll likely lose some muscle size, some strength and performance, not just fat. But if you keep your protein higher, you can lose body fat while holding onto lean mass. In short, when calories go down, protein needs to go up. Fat loss driver number 2 is satiety. Now, the definition of satiety is the feeling of fullness and satisfaction after eating. Basically, protein keeps you full. It digests slower than carbs or fat, it reduces your cravings, and it makes it easier to stick to your plan. So when you're eating high protein meals, chicken, beef, eggs, fish, you're far less likely to reach for junk later on. And it helps you hit your calorie targets without constantly feeling like you're starving. If you're always hungry 2 hours after a meal, increasing your protein might be the fix. Fat loss driver number 3. The higher thermic effect of food. Protein burns more calories just by being digested. It's what's called the thermic effect of food, or the TEF for short. Here's a quick breakdown. Protein burns 20 to 30% of its calories during digestion. Carbs burn 5 to 10%, and fats it's like 0 to 3%, 1 to 3%, somewhere in that range. What that means is 100 calories of protein might only give you 70 to 80 usable calories because 20 to 30 were burned just breaking the protein down. Okay, so let's look at an example from the real world. 2 people eat the same amount of calories. Person A eats 180 grams of protein per day. Person B eats 100 grams of protein, and the rest of that gap comes from carbs. Same total amount of calories. But person A ends up burning more calories per day simply during the digestion of their meals. It works out to be 58 calories more per day, which over the course of 12 months is an extra 21,000 calories or 2.7 kilos of fat just from eating a little bit more protein. Okay, so it's definitely worth it. Fat loss driver number 4, blood sugar and appetite control. Protein slows digestion, prevents energy crashes, and controls hunger hormones like ghrelin. Okay, when you eat a high carb meal on its own, your blood sugar spikes, then crashes, and that crash is typically when cravings hit. You feel tired and hungry again and you start snacking. Protein helps to flatten out those spikes and crashes, and it gives you a much more steady supply of energy, fewer cravings, better focus, and more control. Essentially, it helps you to stick to your plan without feeling like you're fighting against your body the whole time. Okay, so we know that protein is important. It's like the Lego brick that rebuilds your body. We know that when it comes to fat loss, it drives fat loss through muscle preservation, through increased satiety, increased thermic effect of food, and improved appetite control. Now, the next question is, how much protein do you actually need to be having? Well, the answer is 2 grams of protein per kilo of body weight per day. Try to stick with that. So if you're an 80 kilo person, aim for around about 160 grams of protein each day. Don't have it all in one big hit, but try and space it evenly across 4 maybe 5 meals per day. That way you're feeding your body consistently, supporting muscle retention and ticking all the boxes for fat loss. So if you're eating the right amount of protein, if you're lifting consistently, and if you're in a caloric deficit, you're doing everything that you can to lose body fat, hold on to muscle, and stay strong, fast, and athletic, even while cutting. Okay, so you won't just be lighter, you'll be both leaner and more powerful. So don't skip the protein. It's not just a gym supplement, it's a transformational tool. Trust me, because I'm Joe, and Joe knows.